Now that's a hearty one right there. That is our cauliflower and potato soup made. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we are making a superb hearty soup, cauliflower and potato. Cauliflower is the star of the show with a little bit of potatoes in, a little bit of extra veg, and we are going to really up the flavour of this cauliflower. We're going to roast it whilst we prepare the veg. Stick your oven on 200 degrees. Here's our cauli. Now I've got a couple of coulis and we want about 800 grams of this because we're making a soup. We all want to get some. So here you go, cauliflower, turn it over, get your knife and in there. Nice and straightforward. Drop those florets out of there. Nice and easy. And because we're roasting it, you can actually roast up the stalk and everything as well. Now, this is a beautiful, beautiful cauli. You know, cauliflower is one of those underrated veggies, you know. People don't tend to go for it, you know. They go for the broccoli and forget about the cauliflower. What a shame. Right, so it's nice and straightforward. Just take off your florets, cut up your stalk. We can roast all of that. Not a problem. Cauli is the first job. You don't have to season it or anything. Just get a little bit of olive oil on there. Don't even have to stir it around. Grab a tray, chuck it all on there, and then stir it around. Now it's entirely up to you whether you season. It's not really worth it because if you over season this, you're putting a lot of seasoning into your soup. I'd rather cook with the soup and add the roasted cauli. Now for this recipe it calls for garlic, a couple of cloves of garlic. I've got more than that. I've got that much. And what I'm going to do, instead of cooking the garlic in with the onions and things when we make the soup, I'm going to cook this cauliflower for about 20 minutes. But after about 10 to 12 minutes, I'm going to chuck the garlic on here to roast everything. And then you get a fantastic roasted garlic and cauliflower combo. Right, let's stick that in the oven. So whilst that's playing away in there, we can get on with the veg. Right, we've got onion, carrot, celery and some potatoes. So nice and straightforward. Onion as big or as small as you like. Back in that tub. In there. Celery and carrot. I'm going to put the celery and carrot in a tub together. It's nice and straightforward on this. You know, we just want some little cubes of celery straight down there. As big as small as you like. It's going to be blended, so it doesn't matter. Back in that tub. Carrot, we want some carrot. That adds a sweetness to this. Again, we're just cubing. It doesn't matter how big or how small. Potatoes. I've already peeled them as you can see, and we want some cubes of potato. Again, as big or as small as you like. It doesn't matter. Okay, grab yourself a pan. There you go. Want some butter or oil. What a knife. We need a knife. Okay. Oh, that'll do now. In there with some butter. You can go a splash of oil as well. not a problem. Flame on, and we're going to saute the onion. Cauliflower's roasting nicely. I can start to smell it now. Beautiful. So we are going in there with the carrot and the celery first because it's the hardest veg. Start to cook that down. Season to taste, but in there with a little bit of salt. I'm going to put the black pepper in now as well, actually. So nice and steady, give them a couple of minutes in there. They will soften up nicely, and then we're in with the onions. In there, onions. Now we are using dried thyme. You can use fresh, not a problem. I'm going in there with a pinch of dried thyme now, and that can bloom in there with the veg. We will be adding a bay leaf when we start cooking the soup. It just blooms out that dehydrated thyme. Once you've had about 11 minutes on there, take your garlic and chuck in there. The only thing with the garlic going in on there, sometimes it cooks an awful lot quicker, so watch you don't burn it. You don't want burnt garlic because it'll be bitter. I'm going to add my potatoes now. Now what you can do, you can add the potatoes and the cauliflower at the same time. But you know, the cauliflower's cooking, the potatoes aren't. Just give them a little stir through. You know, this is one of those recipes where if you get a little bit of tinge on that potato, it just adds flavour. So if you're doing this like we're doing by cooking that at the same time as this, if you feel you're getting ahead of yourself before that cauliflower's been roasted for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, turn the pan down. If you still feel that the soup is going to get away from you and it's going to burn, add a touch of your stock and then nothing will burn. It's going to be cooked with the stock anyway. As you can see, nothing's happening in here, but in there, a little bit of stock. That's going to hold your veggies while you're cooking. The stock is going to evaporate pretty quickly, you know, the veggies are going to take it on. But that is a way of not letting the pan get away from you and you ain't going to burn anything. If that soup stock evaporates, just put a little bit more in until your cauliflower is done roasted, because that cauliflower is going in here with the stock to make the soup. Nothing gets away from you in cooking, and you don't have to flap. Don't be running around like a headless chicken. Just add a bit of stock, slow it down, and just give your cauliflower a little turn over and roast it up. Okay, we got a little bit of roasting going on there, look. That looks absolutely spectacular. We want that lot in there. Nice and straightforward. But nice bit of roasted garlic, nice roasted collie, in it goes. Nice little mix in. There's some flavour right there. Okay, in there, the rest of our stock. And all we're doing is we're going to cook that for about 20 minutes. Nice and steady. Within that 20 minutes, we're going to keep coming along and giving it a little stir. Make sure nothing is stuck on the bottom. Now don't get flustered. To keep it going, you know, if you have to add a little bit of boiling water, add the boiling water, you know. This is going to be a fantastic thick soup. and it might not be fluid enough for some of you. So if you have to add it, just add it. Okay, once your potatoes have gone soft, what you need to do, well, you don't need to do this, but if you're going to be really smart and dress up your soup, fish out a couple of bits of cauliflower. Nice little bits. It's just for show. You don't even have to do this. Before blending, get that bay leaf out of there. It doesn't matter if you do blend it in there, it's just going to be a stronger flavour. And you can blend it in a jug blender or just blend it with a stick blender. Okay, once you blend it up, give it a little taste test. You know, we're going to add the cream to this, but give it a little taste test for seasoning. That is absolutely fabulous. For me, I want some black pepper in there. But you know, that's me. I like that peppery flavour in soups. Not everybody does. And you could just put it over the top. Not to worry. Right, in there, our cream. Doesn't have to be cream, it can be milk. You can stir through sour cream. No worries. Just gently stir that in there. Do not bring to the boil. Just warm it back through. And that's our cauliflower and potato soup. There's a whole pan of goodness there. Warmed it up. Let's serve it up. Come on. Now that's a hearty one right there. Now we're not going veggie, so we're going on here with some bacon. And we're going on here with some cauliflower. Of course we are. We need to show it off, don't we? And a little bit of potato. Now if you want to serve that with some cheddar over the top of there, some green herbs, anything like that, that is our cauliflower and potato soup made. Look at that. That is creaminess at best. Look at that. Super thick cauliflower and potato soup. Unbelievable. Oh, I could eat that all day long. Oh, a bit of our garnish. That has got an amazing natural sweetness in there. It's delicious. Just what the doctor ordered. That is sensational. Look how thick that is. There you go. That's our cauliflower and potato soup made. Hearty. It's a fantastic meal. Serve it with crusty bread, serve it with anything, just eat it. Share with your friends, tell them how easy it is to make a hearty cauliflower and potato soup. You don't have to add the bacon and things, that's just for me. Add whatever, keep it vegetarian, up to you. A little bit of cheddar works really well on here, it gives it a lovely flavour. If you like what we're doing, big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. I'll catch you in the next video. Amazing.